All right, so bridging the gap between the adopters and the adopter categories. So the many different adopters that you may encounter, you have innovators that are the ones that are willing to test out and experiment with new ideas. These people are those that some may seem as crazy. They don't really accept, others don't really accept these new ideas just yet. And the innovators are the ones that are like, hey, this might be a really good thing we got going. Early adopters are more willing to try new ideas than most other categories, but less willing than innovators. They usually fall behind the innovators. Meaning, innovators will be the very first people to try new things, and then early adopters will follow in right after. The early majority is one of the biggest categories of adopters. Next to the early adopters, they have about the same, or I'm sorry, not the early adopters, but the late majority, where 1/3 of adopters reside. And then the late majority represents the another third of adopters, which falls behind the early majority in willingness, but more willing to adopt than laggards. Laggards are slow to be willing to adopt. They want to ensure that everything is in their best working condition and best shape before they try something. They are very skeptical about things. Guiding implementation. Leading a system of technology implementation with innovators, early adopters, and early majority. Utilizing these people would put a lead on the implementation of technology. Using these people, studies show that early innovators and adopters have been shown to have the most significant impact on the adoption rate of innovations. Just as Christ instructed his disciples to spread the gospel message, even though it was not widely accepted idea, using these disciples that were the original innovators, early adopters, and early majority leaders of their time. So we are comparing our disciples to being the early, such as the innovators and the early adopters and the early majority leaders. They are the ones that not everyone were really sure about it just yet. Finding the middle ground. There are many ways to approach using the early innovators to help guide implementation of new ideas and technologies and systems. To help motivate laggards and late majorities to implement things, they were all weary about to increase faculty motivation by emphasizing shared values. Just as Jesus used his disciples and followers to increase interest by showing the gospel message is true and showing that he and his followers have common goals and shared values with one another. Being an example. To lead a system, you need followers who are believers. Christ used his followers to strengthen the belief in the gospel message. Using common values and interest, Christ brought the believers with him. Just as with new innovations, there will be those that are skeptical. We have to show how these innovations align with our common goal, students. And here is our references.